on, everybody? This is Tanner Ingram with OMP Hobby. I've got the new OMP Hobby M5 on the bench. I figured I'd do a quick unboxing video to show you all what's contained in the kit. If you haven't had an OMP Hobby kit, kind of what to expect. This kit is the M5, of course, but we also have the M6. It has a couple key differences. Of course, this one up to 580 blades, where the M6 is up to 610. I'll kind of go over some of the differences that are in the manual at some point. But today we're going to focus on the M5. So initially, looking at the box, it is just an absolutely beautiful box. I think OMP really outdid themselves with the color scheme they did here. Just how vibrant the colors are on the box. It almost feels criminal to throw away this box. The M6 has a green hue on the box, so you can definitely tell the difference if you're looking at them on the shelf. And they both follow kind of that same space theme. On the back, you can see the 4 different flavors, 4 different color schemes they have, and these are the same colors for the M5 and the M6. They've got the Cosmic Orange, Solar Yellow, Aurora Green, and Nebula Pink. And all of these really pop. I think that if I were to build an M6, I've got the Solar Yellow here in this box we're going to see here in a second. I think I want to go with one of these 2 colors that are inverted. They're unique, look completely different from a lot of other airframes that are on the market. And the colors just really pop. They did a really good job on all of these canopies. The back, they've kind of got some specs and dimensions, some key features about the kit, but all that is in the manual. We can see that for ourselves once we get it built. So we're going to go ahead and unbox this kit. Alright, so let's go ahead and get into it. This is take 2 because I knocked over my tripod here on the first take, so I'll probably open these up and put them on the desk to make it a little bit easier. But initially opening, you've got one big box, which you could probably guess what's in this box. You've got a small parts box over here on the right, and then as always, a smaller box up top. This is where you're going to have the boom and the control rod contained in there. If you got one of the kits that comes with blades, which is also a flavor of the kits, your blades are going to be stored in here. I believe the M5 comes with Rotor 560s, and you can get the M6 with Rotor 580s, as well as their associated 95mm tail blades. Rotor Ultimates all over. Let's go ahead and we'll start here. We'll open the canopy box. There we go. Look at that. Nice packaging and just a beautiful finish on this canopy. I'm a big fan of the yellow. I've got the yellow M2 and M7 with orange on the M4, but I hope the camera is capturing just how vibrant these colors are and how much it pops. You're going to really be able to see this in the air. It's a really nice canopy. Other items in here in this box, we've got some skid tubes and clamps. These tubes are a little bit different than the M7. The same white color, but there's a different finish on them that shouldn't chip. They're supposed to hold up a little bit more if you're having a couple rough landings where you might get a little black nicks on these. There's a different coating on these that should last up a little bit better to a little bit more abuse, which is nice. A nice little feature they added to the M5. Other parts in here, we've got the side frames. This looks like the lower side frame. A couple bearings, the main block that you're going to have right in the middle of the airframe. You might recognize this part because this was, I believe, the part that was on the first teaser that OMP released. It was hovering out in space and kind of threw everybody off. I think that people saw this and thought it was a direct drive, so there were a lot of good guesses going on there, but it was the M5 and the M6. Here are the lower frames here, or I guess secondary. Sorry, I mixed this up. This is the upper frames. Upper frames here in this box. Here are the lower frames, and I really like that they've got the 3D Performance print on there, as well as the OMP Hobby logo engraved in the frame. That's on both sides, which is really nice, as well as the piece that connects the upper and lower frames here in this box. All right, moving on, we're going to get this box out of the way and go into the parts box. That's the box where the fun begins. Alright, so initially opening this box, you've got all the different part bags enumerated, of course. The kit comes with 2 battery trays, which is incredibly nice. If you, of course, most of us are flying at least 2 batteries. It comes with 2 trays, so you don't have to deal with buying another tray straight out of the box, which you do with most kits. Nice M5 blade holder. I also like, they do well with the stickers on here, where they tell you the exact sizes that are in here. So if you're questioning what you're doing in the manual, or just need to go back and replace any of these screws later down the road, they have the exact sizes on the bag, which is really nice. A couple thrust bearings, parts to build the head here. The M5A, and this is important, you'll see in the manual what that stands for. Nice swash ball. Really nice design. Couple tail parts. Got the nice yellow M5A tail fin, and it's of course the yellow that matches. It's nice on the M5, you don't have to deal with all the stickers. They come pre-applied already for you. So the M7, you've got to add the stickers yourself. Got the main gear, which has the number printed on here, which I think is nice because all of the, well, I guess I shouldn't say all. The M5, the M6, and M7 all come with 13 tooth pinions. So that makes it easy. And then what's different is the main gears. So this is a 115. I believe the M6, and I'll double check this, is a 121. Don't hold me to that. I'll overlay in the video if I mess that up. But 115 for the M5. A couple parts. The hex screw that's gonna, or the third bearing block, tail parts, tail slider parts, Jesus bolts. Got your tail case, and it's the one-piece unibody tail case like we have on the M7 and M4. I believe, let's see here, we have a smiley face somewhere in here. Yep, there it is. I guess it's a frowny face when you put it that way. Clay over at Buddy RC always likes showing this, so I've got a little smiley face there. Let's see, bag 8, got a bunch of the torque tube holding parts. You've got the counterweight, which I think is an amazing design, or not counterweight, it's the mass dampener that goes underneath the ESC mount. Depending on which MCU sensor, which flyballers you're using, this might be used, but it's not always used. Be sure to check the manual for what you need. I'm going to be running a Nexus flybarless, so I know that I don't need that. I can save about 30 grams on the airframe. A couple links for the tail. Oh, actually, here it is. Okay, I didn't think that this was going to come with the kit. So the pre-production kit, which is this one here, the ones that are coming to America should be here hopefully this week. They should be here very soon and shipping out to everyone in the States, but pre-production kit doesn't come with the printed manual. You'll have the printed manual, and it also comes with a spare parts bag, or gift, they call it, and it lists out everything that's in here in case you break something in the build, or manufacturing quality control missed one part in one of the bags. You've got this here just in case. Or you crash, need a couple spares, you've got them there, which is always nice. You've got the black main shaft, very nice finish on that main shaft. And I believe it's actually, I'll open this here in a second, I think it's printed, yep, there it is. Let's see if you can see it in the camera. 117 or 170 millimeter is printed on the main shaft. So if you're working with the M5 and M6, you're getting your parts mixed up, you just quickly reference right there exactly what it is. Bag 9 with some screws. It comes with metal 20 tooth horns all around, and they're actually, some of them, this one clamps that you can put on the tail. I really like the ones that clamp, as well as the ones that you simply just screw in onto the servos. Very nice that they come with the kit. ESC tray, depending on which ESC you're running, you can actually screw it in here. I'm running the Sunny Sky ESC, so I can actually screw it directly onto this, which is nice. You don't have to deal with Velcroing or zip tying it onto the helicopter. Grips for the tail, nicely packaged. I've always thought that OMP just has an insane amount of bags in these kits. Not a bad thing. It actually really helps you keep organized, but you can just see how many bags and how dense it is in here, and you can keep them for later use to store parts, whatever you may need. You were set for bags for a very long time with one of these kits. Washout arms for the head, all nicely bagged, as well as the individual bearings in a separate bag. see. Oh, here's the 15 millimeter servo stack, as well as the bearing block. The M6 comes with 20 millimeter servos, which are full-size servos. 15 millimeter are the mini servos. So I'm going to be running Theta Sabre C1s on the head and the Sabre T1 on the tail, since it's all 15 millimeters. If you want to run the full-size on the M5, which I personally wouldn't recommend, most kits nowadays, or most servos nowadays, can support the mini servos very well. They've got plenty of power. You don't need it, but if you want to convert your M5, you have that possibility, and it labels it very nice to keep them different. And here, looks like we got a Jesus bolt in the bag. I've bumped this ring camera a couple times, so I apologize if this video is shaky, but that is the unboxing of the OMP M5. I'm going to walk you through the manual here in just a moment, show you a couple key things that are kind of cool in the manual, and then I'm going to get building this kit. All right, so I'll show you how to get to the manual, the digital copy, and show you a couple key pages in the manual. I'm not going to walk you through every single page, but a couple key things I think I should at least point out for you to pay attention to. Again, your kit will come with the hard copy. Some people prefer the hard copy. Some people prefer the digital version. Me personally, I end up using both. I've got the laptop open with the digital and the hard copy in front of me that I mark up depending on, I think it's just easier to kind of see both. So maybe I'm a rare person that uses both. So you're going to go to omphobby.com, support and user manual. Very easy to get to. The latest and greatest manual will be stored on this website. Typically the manuals are pretty hard coded and nothing changes, but the latest and greatest will always be here. This one is from March 17th, 25. So we will go ahead and get right into it. Revision 0 is what I'm looking at here. And the first page I want to show you that I think is pretty important, or at least I think a lot of questions are going to come out of this page. Page 38, down at the very bottom of the manual, defines the difference in the M5A, M5B, and the M6. So in the United States, they're going to have available the M5A, which are the 15 millimeter servos, and the M6. So if you want to convert and kind of be this middle helicopter and run the full-size servos or the 20 millimeter servos, this outlines the exact difference in parts that you're going to need to order to convert your kit. So of course, the M5A, M5B are going to share the same rotor blades. They're going to have the same pinion, different pinion availability here for the M5B. The main shaft is going to be longer. You still have the same main gear. So this is where people can get confused, and this table is really going to help you figure out exactly what you need with exact part numbers to go ahead and throw into your cart if you want to order it. Worth noting, I did mention this earlier, the M5 and the M6 canopy are slightly different. The M6 is has a little bit bigger of a portfolio. But if you're doing the M5B, of course, it tells you right here, you don't need to upgrade that. So again, M5A, 15 millimeter servos, M5B, full size servos. So we'll go back to the very top. Table of contents is very nice to get through. General information and limitations. This is one part of all the OMP Hobby kits, the OMP Hobby manuals that I think is incredibly beneficial. Very nice to have. You've got all of your different specs about the airframe, the different gear ratios that come with each kit. So M5 15, M5 20 millimeters. This will be the M5A, M5B again. Different pitches. It's pretty common for most kits. Pitch and RPM recommendations. It also gives you your airframe limitations. These airframes are all tested and engineered with a certain factor of safety. So definitely follow these and be sure to check them. 560 is limited to 2,500 RPM, 580, 2,400 RPM. And if you're going above that, you've got something else is going on. You don't need more pitch than that with or more head speed than that with how light this airframe is. Motor selection and limitations, it gives you that information. And my favorite part that I've been wanting to get here is the setup data for Rotor Flight 2. It gives you all of your mixer information, all of your pitch limits, the clockwise, counterclockwise limits, total blade pitch limit. So of course, as you're setting it up, check and make sure these match. I have found, at least building the M7 and the prototype version of the M5, that these numbers came out pretty much perfect, almost within 0.5. Servos are the limiting factor here, but this should be exact. And I'm sure that my 0.5 off was just me
me messing up a setup there. So be sure to follow these. These are going to get you right there. It gives you your ratios, your motors, and then a symbol key. As you're going through the manual, it has very bright red text of very important things to pay attention to. Pay attention to the orientation of the main gear. You'll see there's a little chamfer here on the main pulley there for the tail. Just be sure to check those, and those are outlined very well so you're not going through the kit and you mess anything up. This kit builds essentially the exact same as the M7. There's a couple key differences, of course. It's not the same helicopter. The M5 is very similar to the M4 Max in a lot of characters, but it also shares a lot of qualities of the M7. Actually, for the prototype build of this, we did not have a manual yet, and I used the M7 manual as a reference for building, and it pretty much followed the exact same. I was able to use the M7 manual to build the M5. That's how similar the designs are and how familiar it should feel for you. So I'll quickly scroll through this, but that's pretty much all I wanted to show you here in the manual. It does have a very nice tensioner here. I really like this. The M7 has this as well. Essentially, it tells you exactly how to do it somewhere in here. A lot of red telling you exactly how to put your thrust bearings, orientation of your belt. When you're tightening your tail pulley is where I wanted to show you, specifying which way the flange goes. Pretty much common mistakes that a lot of people who are building or aren't familiar with building a helicopter, not their first build, or it could be their first build, it could be their first OMP. Things to pay attention to are highlighted in red here, which is really nice. Here it is. So the belt tensioning, this is one of my favorite things about the OMP airframes. You essentially pull, or you pull the tensioner all the way out, so the knob is out. You pull the boom back so there is no tension remaining. You tighten your screws, and then you screw this down flush, and it will give you perfect belt tension every single time. So if this is your first belted helicopter, you're not familiar with the belt, this gives you the exact feel that you're looking for, and it's incredibly accurate. This is how I do it on the M7. This is how I'll do it on the M5. It works very well. Tells you how to place your gear mesh. Essentially, you want your gear mesh all the way flush. You want to feel the backlash, but you shouldn't be able to visibly see it move. And you can also use a piece of paper to accomplish this. I typically push the motor all the way up onto the main gear, rotate it a little bit, tighten it down, and that gets me as well. You've got a couple different options, but it tells you exactly how to do it here. Setting up your tail. Swash plate. Of course, we saw this was already built in the manual. Different lengths for the M5 and the M6, as well as if you end up going with the M5B, different lengths here to do. And it goes off of the part number there, so you'll know which ones to go to build. Well, I guess I'll scroll through this. I won't bore you all with the manual here. Got the Eiffel Tower built here for the elevator servo. It's very nice, nice touch. Finishing up the kit, get everything installed, and then our table again. And then at the very bottom, it'll give you every single part number that was built in the kit. If you need to go back and look for something, look something up, you just look up the OCHM number that is tied to these. OCHM up here, part number. Typically, the OSHM 5 is going to be for the M5, OSHM 7, M7, of course. OSHM 6 is going to be for the M6 a lot of times, but a lot of these share parts. The M5 and the M6 share about 90% of the same parts, so they do cross over in these, and that's where, to make sure you know what you're working with, you are going to look at this table and reference exactly what you need. So what I was saying, OSHM 5, M5 here, OSHM 6, that's a M6, M5B shared part with the 6, so it uses the 6 prefix. Pretty much what those mean for you. So I'm going to get building. Be sure to comment any questions you have or reach out to me on Facebook, Tanner Ingram RC, if you have any questions about your build or any questions about OMP Hobby. Thank you all for watching if you've made it this far. I apologize that the mic quality wasn't excellent. Kind of threw this together because I was eager to start building. So happy flying, and I hope to see you all at the next fun fly.